sorry, her passion is to share a unique roadmap for women over 40 like us who have lost their way, and her passion is to share that roadmap for you to get back to your own true self so you can create a life of passion and purpose. And aside from her passion of helping women like us to live an authentic life, I love this beautiful French accent. It's just so it's just so romantic, when you speak to her, like even she speaks in English, it's like, oh yes. Yes, I agree. Jen is also a mother of two beautiful kids, Liam and Yelena, and happily married to this talented artist, Eric. Jen, welcome to our 365 days of deep conversation. Just to give a little bit of a background, Jen and I have been so excited this has been boiling up, isn't it, Jen? This has been boiling up for a long time. For a long time. And I believe in the power of synchronicity. I believe in the power of aligning yourself. And I believe in the power of the proper timing. And I guess, to just gather and celebrate and to talk about something that we wanted to talk about. Jen, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Vita.
You're welcome. Tell us more. Like, how did you start with all of this?
I think I've been really interesting question. I've been a coach for a long time, I think, but I wasn't kind of ready to just embody being a coach, if that makes sense. So I always like inspiring other women, and that's why actually the feedback I got, like, oh, you are so inspiring, but I didn't have the courage to just take the leap. And it's in 2019 that I finally decided this is it. I want to help other women because I've been on my own journey, my spiritual journey and my personal development journey. And I'm like, I need to share this. It took me years, but you know what? It is a learning curve. But if I can help other women to get to that point where, oh, this is who I am, like it's about reconnecting with yourself. And I really believe that we all have a unique gift. We all have something unique to offer. And sometimes you can lose that when you forget who you are. And that's what I'm passionate about. I really want to empower women. Like, there is a roadmap. I've got 6 steps, a 6-step process just to help them reconnecting with themselves so they can feel fulfilled. So that's my passion. I'm like, I just want to help as many women as possible find their way, reconnecting with themselves so they can be happy and use their unique gift. And because I've found my unique gift, my purpose, and I want to help others create their purpose as well.
Fabulous, fabulous. And I believe that what you do sort of reflects the path that you've gone through as well. Why did you chose to coach women 40 and above, and why authentic self? What is it about authentic self, and what is it about coaching women over 40, or maybe women in particular? So tell us about what's that passion about. How did it all start?
I think that I've been asked that question before. Why women over? They touch me, Vita. I don't know how to explain it because I feel like I love being 45. I think it's an amazing age.
Oh my God, you don't look 45 at all.
Thank you. But I come across so many women who feel like, okay, I'm 45 or I'm 50, and they feel like not the end, but they're like, oh, I don't know who am I anymore. And this is only the beginning. We're only getting started. I really believe we're only getting started. And I really feel like it's only my 40s I've finally found myself. And that's why I want to help. I think it's an amazing age. It can be a midlife crisis, but it can also be an awakening. And I want to help other women realize that. And I want to be part of the journey. That's why women over 40 really, really touch me. Because I get them. I've been there.
You've been there. I really get that. Because you mentioned about women, 40 and above, or in their 40s, life is just starting. If I look back in my 20s and 30s, I won't be, I won't be the same person as who I was before, as who I am now. There's this sense of maturity, and there's this sense of I'm owning who I am, in my 40s. And I understand that as you grow older, they say that you become more authentic. I guess because you don't really allow people's opinion to to sort of dictate who you are anymore. But when you were in your 20s and 30s, I felt so dictated by everyone around me. I feel like I've completely lost my identity. And so it is a journey, isn't it, to reach a particular age and to realize, who am I? What is my authentic, we can say, power? What is my personality? Who am I as a person? What can I offer to the world? I want to delve into because our topic for tonight is all about reconnecting with your authentic self, and you have 6 clear, empowering steps to create.
Yeah.
Let's talk about authentic self. So when we talk about authentic self, what do you mean by that?
I mean by that you live according to, you live in alignment with your values. That's who you are. And I think it's about, after a certain age, I really feel like when you turn 40, there's like, oh, I'm done being a people pleaser. There's something going on. I don't know if there's something switching your brain or like, I've had enough pleasing everyone. Like, I lost myself. What about me? What about my own needs? What about my own desires and my dreams? And you have that urge. You've got that urge. That's why sometimes it's called a midlife crisis. Like, I feel like you need a change. Like, it's not working for me anymore. It's not working, and I think that's why. Yeah, I really feel like it's an urge to like, who am I? What is it? Because you know what, Vita, I talked to a few women, and when I was asking them, okay, what would you do if you had like a day for yourself? What can you see yourself doing? What excites you? And I have so many women around me who are not able to answer that. So for me, that's a sign that you kind of lost yourself a little bit. And you don't really know what floats your boat, what gives you energy, what makes you happy, what brings you joy.
You thick.
Yeah, what makes you like, if you ask me what would be my ideal day, I know exactly how it would start, till the end of the day. I know exactly what I would be doing. So I think it's a sign. Ask yourself, what would I be doing if I had a day for myself? What would I like to do? And that, I think it's such a powerful way to realize without beating yourself up. I always say, if you want to make changes, do it from a place of love. This is not the opportunity to beat yourself up. It's just, okay, owning, as you said, Vita, owning your own journey, owning your story. And that's, you've done your best with what you had. And that's all it is. End of story. Now you're ready for a change, but owning who you are, owning your story, I think that's I think it's really key. And then you can make the changes you want to make.
Fabulous. So, isn't it, because when we speak about being authentic with ourselves, that I feel like it takes a lot of really a courage to step in to becoming who you are, because we're not going to forget the fact that there are going to be people around you, surrounding you, who is going to criticize you. My own personal journey. I was trained as a nurse, and then my career, I had a whole solid career in the medical profession, as a care manager for elderly people for over like 10 years. And I've left that career to follow the path of, being a health and wellness coach, being a yoga teacher, and create that path. And it's not an easy journey to be that authentic self. And I really love, I'm going to touch into what you said. You said that when you're coming from a place of love, then that is the space to start, because most of our lives we have been pleasing other people. And I feel that that's the start of us being sad, depressed, lost away. It's because all our lives we've been pleasing other people. We as women would love we love to give and deplete ourselves until we've given enough. Most of the time we have forgotten ourselves. So if you're a mother, a teacher, you know, a student, a leader, you know, our role in the society is to always give. But then we've forgotten who we are, isn't it? So what can you say to those women who are still struggling to live an authentic life?
I think the first step, I always start with that. It's self-care. When I say self-care, it's not because sometimes when I mention the word self-care, people think, oh, going to the hairdresser and getting your nails done. There's a bit more to it. It's about looking after your mind, body, and soul. What is it you need? Because I think we sometimes we forget how to tap into our inner wisdom. Your body knows what he needs. You see what I mean? Find a way to move your body and try things and experiment. And that's also how you develop passions. But really look after your mind, body, and soul like a priority schedule. Because if you're waiting, don't wait till, I've got 5 minutes. No, actually schedule it. I ask my coaching client to actually schedule in the timetable. Okay, when is that time with yourself? Where can you actually reflect? Creating that space for yourself is part of self-care. And also just as I was saying, like looking after your body, looking after your mind. For me, journaling on a daily basis, putting my thoughts down. That's another way to look after yourself. And saying no, that's another way. That's another form of self-care. Saying no, because sometimes we tend to say yes to everything, even when you don't feel like it. And sometimes being able to say, you know what, no, I don't want to do this. That's really powerful. That's what I mean by self-care as well. Look after yourself. What is it you eat? I'm a big food. I love food, but I like healthy food. You know, food that really fuel your body, that really nourishing your body. So you see, I think it's about the holistic approach, looking after your mind, body, and soul. Asking yourself, what can I do for my mind, for my body? And you can start. Sometimes you don't know, but you've got to start somewhere. Try meditation, try yoga, see how you feel. You might not like it, but try, experiment, and follow the whisper. If there's something telling you, oh, maybe I should try this. Now you can find so many tools online, but try things and schedule time for yourself. That's my main message. This is what I call self-care, and that's where I would start. For anyone who's feeling a bit lost, and yeah, definitely self-care would be my first step.
I really love that. So this six steps for us to truly find our authentic self is what you're saying is start from looking after yourself first. I
love
like
yourself.
Begin to love
self-love. Like you I think that's all start with that self-love, and obviously you can work on it, but really, like, I deserve to look after myself. Okay, it's good to look after other people, but what about me? What about my own needs? Really important.
Fabulous. So it starts with I like what you said about self-care, because last month we had the same topic about self-care, and most of us have this conversation about self-care. We think that self-care is more of having long bath or go to the nail salon, although those are go shopping and all that, although those are essential, but those are just touching the surface of self-care. If you haven't done the self-work inside you, if you haven't cleared this old beliefs inside you, then then you're not really digging into that sort of issue inside you. You're not really digging into your authentic self. So I know, Jen, that before, before you reach into the stage of helping women, what were you like? What were your sort of experience before? What I'm trying to ask is that, how did you sort of navigated your path into creating this this coaching thing, this helping women? How did you navigate your path, and what sort of led you into this journey?
I think it's meeting people. I was out quite a lot meeting people, and because when it was still possible to go out and meet people, going to seminars, I invested so much time working on myself that at some point when you fill in your own cup, you have to share. You know what I mean? I had grown so much. I'm like, I can't keep it for myself. I've got to share that with others. That's why I love recommending books. I've read, I don't know, hundreds of books since my personal development, the journey started. I would highly recommend to feed your mind every day with really good content. Might be good books, audiobooks, podcasts, TED Talks, just to be exposed to new ideas, and that's how you grow. But it needs to be intentional. Growth is not happening just like that. It needs to be a real intention. So it does take work. So I really feel like, as I said, reading a lot of books, listening to podcasts on a daily basis, like every single day, like it's part of my I call that mental hygiene. Like, similar like you have a shower every day, you clean your thoughts every day. I think that's really part of my daily routine. If I don't do it for a few days, I can feel it. So it's really, be intentional with your thinking, with your mindset. And for me, books and seminars and investing time and money really, really helped me. That's why I was like, oh, no, I've got to share this. I can't keep it for myself. What's the point? My cup is full. My cup is full. Hence the beginning of the coaching path. I'm like, okay, how can I share that with other women? And I always loved one-to-one meaningful conversations. They give me so much energy. I'm like, oh my gosh. And I remember thinking a few years ago, if I could be paid to have like powerful, meaningful conversation with women, and that's what I'm doing now.
Right. And that's how you found your passion and your purpose at the same time. And your purpose. We're gonna sort of delve into passion and purpose, but I wanna still move in. I wanna still go to the topic of authenticity, authentic self, because I feel like we think that when we talk about authentic self, one thing that came to me a while ago while I was sort of just pondering about this topic is that Louis Vuitton has this authentic card or seal that they are authentic bags and all these luxury items, isn't it? But have we ever thought about us? What is our authentic self? Because if you look at Instagram, Facebook, and everyone wants to be the same. Everyone wants to look the same, talk the same, wanted to be want just to be. We don't. It's so hard to find people who are original. How do you sort of, what would your advice to women? How would you find your true authentic self? Is there a secret? Is there like steps, or how would you sort of begin to find your true authentic self?
I touched on the first step, the self-care and self-love, and I would say the second step is being aware. It's awareness and acceptance. That means being aware of, okay, that's my journey, owning your journey. Because if you start comparing yourself to others, that's where it never ends really well. So I think staying in your own lane and owning your story. Okay, that's been my journey so far. I've done this, I've done that, without beating yourself up. I keep saying it, but it's really important. No judgment. Just being, okay, that has been my journey. I'm owning it. This is me, my unique journey. And when you do that, you don't feel like it doesn't even make sense to compare yourself with others. I mean, you've got your own upbringing. Yes, I think that's my second step, owning your journey and being
Owning your
aware.
journey.
And I think that's really important. Yeah, absolutely. And just accepting, okay, I've done my best. That might not be, I might not do things like this way, but hey, I've done my best. And that
I
always
love
helps.
that.
I've done my best.
Owning your
I've done,
journey. Owning
yeah,
your journey.
yeah, and accepting it.
And accepting it. Let's dig in a little bit into that. Because I know some women who are listening to us tonight, they feel that they're going through certain stuff, like really big stuff in their lives. And most of our how do I say it? Our reaction is, I don't want this. This is too heavy to deal with. So we sort of we sort of just put it aside. Like if you're going through divorce, if you're going through separation, if you're going through depression, if you're going through some, I don't know, midlife crisis, some loneliness, some bad stuff in your lives, and I know we all go through that. And most of us, what we do is, I want to, I don't want this. We go through certain stuff. We go through addiction. We go through, just to avoid that. And I really like what you said. So own this journey, because this is, I think you're not being given that journey. You're not being given that, let's just call it a contrast. That you're not being given that challenge or a contrast for you to suffer or for you to struggle. And what you're saying is that to really live or to really become your true authentic self is to embrace that challenge, is to embrace that journey. Embrace your journey, because this journey, this challenge, this contrast that you're going through right now has some lesson for you to learn. And the more you let go through the pain, the more you go through that difficult challenge, the more the real you comes out.
Yeah,
I feel
absolutely,
that's
Vita.
what you're owning
Yeah.
journey. That's what you're
And
owning your
owning your
journey.
emotions as well. Talking about
Oof,
owning,
I love
it's
that.
also
Mhm.
owning your emotions. So you've got to feel, because I feel like we're in a society where
We're so
people.
scared to feel.
Yes, you
We're
always be
so
being positive
separated.
mm, and you can't. I think one part of reconnecting with yourself is reconnecting with your emotions, allowing yourself to feel instead of buffering. What I mean by buffering is numbing your emotion with overeating or over drinking, overspending, spending your days in front of Netflix. That's buffering. You're numbing your emotions, and I want to tell women, no, 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 feel it all. Feel it all. It's painful, but it needs to. It's really important to feel your yeah, definitely to feel your emotions, to process your emotions, to feel them in your body, all these uncomfortable emotions, and that's how you reconnect with yourself.
Ah, okay. That's quite big. I'm gonna chunk it to like a really sizable, bite size idea. So I'm learning here whilst I'm talking to you. I don't know anything about this as well. I'm just learning as well. So, I'm asking question with Jen, in a way that you guys wanted to ask questions. So I'm not just asking question for myself. So I'm asking Jen a question in a way that all of us can sort of, okay, learn. And again, if you're just joining us, feel free to, we have a 10 to 15 minute Q&A question, Q&A later on, for you to just bounce back ideas, ask questions. But anyway, I really like what you said. Buffering. So most of us, because we talk about owning your journey and owning your emotions. Some of us starts overeat, do some other stuff to buffer or over, watch video because we don't want to feel the emotion. But it's too painful, Jen. It's really too painful to go through that. To go through that pain. Personally, what was your practice? How did you got through that difficult pain?
I think it's for
What was
me,
your personal?
you've got to, I think pain is like part of life. And I shared that recently in a post, but like I heard that concept of life is 50-50. And that was such relief when I heard that new idea. I never heard that before. Like life is 50-50. It's part of the human experience. 50% of positive emotions, 50% of negative emotions. So when I heard that, I'm like, oh, that means when I'm not feeling good, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with me. It's part of being human. That was such a relief. And that's such an important message to convey. Like,
that was
it's
such
okay. It's okay not to be okay. I think that's really important. We're not supposed to feel good all the time. That's not life. That's not life at all. And being able to process all these emotions, actually, I'm fine. And that's how you can move on. If you resist your emotions, then you don't process them. And that's how you can't move on, you can't grow. So it's really, really important. And that's what people do when they overeat, overdrink, overspend, overwork. It's always to numb the emotions because it's uncomfortable. Absolutely.
So uncomfortable.
But that's where suffering comes from. Suffering, yes, suffering comes from when you have a painful, uncomfortable emotions and you resist. That's where the suffering comes from, when you're judging yourself. So I always tell my clients, don't add a layer of guilt on top of your negative emotions. It's okay. There's nothing to feel guilty about that. And I think that's really owning your emotion and feel. I just want to shout it. Feel. It's all right. Process this, all these emotions through your body. It's all right. And then you can feel better.
Sorry. I'm just excited to respond.
Yeah, me too.
I guess we have to slow down, calm down a little bit. Anyway, so I feel like we live in this society that wanted to, have a cure, an instant cure of everything else. So if we want some food, just dial something, that food will come to you. If you need someone, you can just call someone, that kind of, we live in that kind of society, that kind of time where everything is just so easy. And I feel that you're right. That's when we start separating, and we start separating, or we don't want to feel a little bit of discomfort anymore, because going through discomfort is challenging. If everything is being given to me, presented to me in a, if I have this quick fix on everything, why do I need to suffer? Why do I need to feel this discomfort? But most of us don't know that that's where the lesson is. That's where the true authentic power lies in, when you go through that deep pain. And it's so true. When I deal with my clients as well, I notice that most of the time, when I just step back and say, we have this sort of separation from our mind, our body, and soul, we tend to forget that all these things are one. Most of the people I spoke with, when they have a certain pain, they would just, reach for a quick drug to heal and cure that pain. But we don't really look at the whole thing. Maybe let's look at your emotion. Maybe there's some underlying emotions that we need to sort of deal with. And I noticed that 90%, almost 100% of my clients have that. That, when they have the physical pain, when they have a physical pain, 100%, 90% of the time, it's caused by a certain emotional, issue, emotional challenge that they go through. But what we're doing at the moment is just, to reach for a quick fix, because that's how we're being taught. And I guess that's the main thing of our conversation today, isn't it? So don't be scared to heal and go through the pain. I know it's challenging. I know it's painful. And don't buffer. I like that word. Don't buffer.
Yeah,
don't overheat.
Yeah.
Don't overwatch Netflix, because the next day it's gonna be there.
yeah, you're buffering, scrolling through Facebook for half an hour. That's buffering. You see what I mean?
I'm guilty on that.
Just numbing your the same here.
I'm guilty.
But
I
got that
notice.
awareness. But it's
awareness, yes.
Awareness. Whilst you're doing it, okay, I'm buffering now. I want to avoid feeling that way. Okay, you see, I mean, that awareness without judging yourself, I think that's really important. And the reason why it's important to reconnect with your emotions, and that's part of being your authentic self, is you experience your life through your emotions, Vita. You experience your life through your emotions. So you want to feel it all. That's part of living. That's part of being a human being. So I think that's really important. And yeah, so that would be my second step. Definitely owning your journey and your emotions. And that leads me, if that's okay, to my third step, which is realizing that your emotions, taking responsibility for your emotions, and I keep saying it, I feel strongly about that no one can make you feel anything. So it's about taking responsibility. It's your thoughts that are responsible for your emotions and feelings, always.
It's your thought that is, it's your thought.
It's not the fact. It's not what happens to you that makes you feel a certain way. It's so empowering when you realize that, Vita. I'm going to say it again. Emotions are created by your thoughts, not by some external events. These are neutral. What happens is neutral. There are just pure circumstances. But then you have a thought about what happens, and that makes you feel a certain way. So it's really empowering, realizing, oh, hold on a minute. That's not that's not what people taught us when we were little. You know, like, oh, and that wasn't empowering at all when I think about it. But now I realize no one can make you feel anything. Boom. And when you realize that, you're responsible for your own. If you're feeling a certain way and you're like, you know what, I don't like the way I've been feeling lately, you take responsibility. Oh, it's down to my thoughts. And that's where you can work on your thoughts to have a different feeling if you choose to. And I think that's my third step, realizing the power of your thoughts. Your thoughts create your results in your life. If you're not happy with any area, if you're not satisfied with any area of your life, it always goes down to your thoughts, always. So that's really empowering.
I just had an aha moment.
No, always. Look, your finances, your relationship, your everything has to, your health, like everything has to do with your thoughts. And that's like, oh wow, okay. You can't blame anyone, you can't blame anything. What happens is neutral, and then you decide what you want to say. All your thoughts are optional.
I just want to take a pause on that because those words are very, very powerful. Just take a pause on that and just feel that. Owning your emotions, owning your thoughts, taking responsibility of your thoughts. That's very, very powerful because most of us choose, every day you have a decision to live in love and to live in fear, isn't it? So if you're going through some things, that's very powerful. You just caught me there. I feel really guilty because I feel like we're just sort of in this journey and we're just learning. I'm just learning myself. That's what I'm doing this conversation and try to get everyone in on the call because I'm just a student as well, learning. And when you learn something, it's just like, okay, it's another step of awakening. It's another step of development. It's another step of expansion. That's really powerful. That's a tweetable, as Oprah said, that's a tweetable moment. that's a tweetable moment. Your thoughts creates everything, isn't it?
Your reality. They create your reality.
You create your reality. Your emotions is also controlled by your thoughts. Am I correct?
Yeah, the way it works, I work with a model, Vita, and it's so powerful. It's basically you have your thoughts that make you feel a certain way, and your emotion always drive your action, okay? And your action create your results. That's how it works. So
say
if you don't like,
say it again.
Yeah, I'm going to say it again. So basically, you have your circumstances that are always neutral, okay? Fact. Things happen. You can't argue. It's just a fact. And then you're going to have a thought about that fact that's going to make you feel a certain way. But most people forget that they skip the thought line. So they just, oh, the circumstance happened, something happened, it's a fact. Oh, that's because of that fact, I'm feeling that way. So there's no responsibility. They don't take ownership. And I'm like, no. You skip a step. Your thoughts are in between. That's why really be intentional about your thoughts. Be really intentional and ask yourself on a daily basis, is that thought actually serving me? Do I want to keep it? Again, no judgment. You're not beating yourself up, but you're asking yourself, do I want to keep that thought? How does that make me feel? Oh, not great. Okay, I'll probably change that thought because it's not serving me. It's such a powerful question to ask you on a daily basis. Be intentional with your thoughts because they create your reality.
Wow.
I'm not saying it's easy, but when you do that work, that's how you change things in your life.
It liberates you. It liberates you from that suffering.
It's powerful. It's powerful. We're not victims. I want to empower women. Being a victim is a choice. You can change the narrative. You can change the narrative. You're not a victim. We are so powerful, but we forget how powerful we are. And that's why I love that work on our thoughts. Like, what are you thinking right now? How does that make you feel? You think if you're feeling frustrated or confused, do you think you're going to have a good result? And it sounds obvious. You go like, no, from a place of confusion, probably not. Okay, let's go back to your thoughts. It's fun. It's fun. It's fun. It's a fun, fascinating work and really empowering.
I love that. I love that. I love what you said, that it's not easy, but you have a choice. You have a choice.
Always have a choice.
You have a choice to be a victim of your depressing thoughts. You have a victim or choice to, be a victim of circumstances that's happening around you, or you want to be a victor. You want to feel.
You always have a choice. I think that's why the message I want to convey. You always have a choice. We have a question for Dimitri. Have you seen it, Vita?
Oh yeah. Hello, Mahal. That's my partner over there in the UK. He's listening to us. Shall we answer the question now, or
I think it's quite on point with what we're saying. Yeah.
Fab. Okay. So Dimitri said, "What should I do?" Go ahead, Jen.
Yeah. What should I do if I'm talking to someone and they make me responsible for making them feel bad? They don't know that they are choosing their. Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah. Really good question, Dimitri. I love that. My answer to this is I completely get it, because it's not everyone who's doing that work, obviously. So, it's only like you're the lucky ones listening to this, because most people don't take ownership for their emotions. They make other people responsible. And you know what? Stay strong, knowing that you can't be responsible for someone else's emotions and feelings. You know that. You've got that belief. And I think that's really important, to let go of the guilt. Let go of the guilt. The thing is, you can't, it's not about convincing others, but it's about being really strong in your belief. And the guilt is not helping you, Dimitri. I'm pretty sure you're going to agree with that. When you're guilty, the result is usually not great. So really think about, okay, I don't want to feel guilty anymore. And the guilt, you realize, comes from that thought, yeah? So instead of feeling guilty, what else would you like to feel instead? And okay, what thought can I have in order to feel different? I hope that makes sense, but you can't convince. That's why you need to be strong in your own belief and let go of the guilt. You're not responsible for other people's happiness. Focus on your own happiness. I listened to a podcast yesterday, and that was mind-blowing. Like, sometimes we feel guilty because we feel responsible for other people's well-being. No, you're responsible for yourself, and if you have young children. I love that. This is end of story. You're not responsible for other adults' well-being, and they have their own growth to experience, their own self-development to experience. Don't feel responsible for other people's happiness. Focus on yours, and obviously when you have children. But people are adults. We need to have that belief that they can sort themselves out. I hope that makes sense. But yeah. I'm glad it makes sense, Dimitri. That was such a good question. Yeah. Oh, Vita, I can't hear you.
Just so you can.
Yeah. Okay.
I just muted myself. Sorry about that.
Yeah, you just have to accept it. Absolutely. And sometimes when you grow, people don't come with you on the journey, and that's all right. You know, most relationships are complete. You don't need a whole drama. Sometimes that's the way it is. That's the way it is. You lose that friendship. You say no and bye. You're saying goodbye to certain things, maybe to welcome other things, other people in your life. That's part of the of the growth journey. You realize, oh, maybe yeah, you're losing that friendship, but you being true to yourself. That's being authentic. That's why sometimes it's painful, yeah, because that's you being authentic. But that means maybe there is a chance that you're losing a friendship, but that's you being true to yourself. Because if you can't be yourself with a friend,
completely agree. Thank you for that. Guys, since Dimitri said thank you and bless you. Thanks, Mohammed, for the question. And guys, if if at some point you have the questions that you want to ask, just type in on the chat box. Then we'll sort of do our best to answer that question. So let's move on to the next step of this 6 clear, empowering steps on how to reconnect your authentic self, to live a life of passion and purpose. So we're on step 3. That's taking responsibility of your emotion and being intentional with your thoughts.
Yeah, I think it would be intentional with your thoughts. That would be my 3rd step. Really have intentional thoughts, and always remember they create a reality. So ask yourself on a regular basis, is that thought serving me? And then you have a choice.
Is that thought serving me? Is this thought of being a victim serving me at the moment?
Yeah, is that thought even like, oh, I don't even like, this really like, they seem like nothing kind of thoughts, like these sentences, they have so much power. So much power. So with awareness, you can catch yourself. Oh, is that thought really helping me? Not really. So you have that power, and just be aware, be intentional with your thinking. That would be my 3rd step. And my 4th step would be, and I'm obsessed with values, work on identifying your values. What's important to you? That's how you reconnect with yourself. That would be my 4th step, Vita.
Identifying your values.
Yeah.
When you say value, what do you mean by that?
What's important to you? Like freedom. And there's no right or wrong. It's who you are. Values are who you are. If you want to reconnect with yourself, identify your values. Do that soul searching, that self-discovery. Okay, what's important to me? And sometimes you have to go back to when you were a child, you see? And remembering, I love doing that work with my clients, like the peak moment in your life, peak experiences where you felt alive. What were you doing? How were you feeling? And that says a lot. If you're feeling a lot in your life, do that work. It's absolutely amazing. You're reconnecting with who you are. For me, it's freedom, and that's really one of my core value: purpose, growth, nature, calm. My values are so clear, and the thing is, for most people, when they're not satisfied in life, where they're feeling a bit unfulfilled, it's probably because they don't live in alignment with their values. But you need to know your values first. You need to know that work, and probably go back once you're clear about your values. Ask yourself, am I honoring this value right now? And if you're not feeling great, probably because there are something is a bit off, and that's probably because you're not in alignment with your values. So really doing that work around values. What's important to you? What do you need in your life? There's no right or wrong. It's really specific to it's really unique. Everyone has a unique set of values. Everyone has a unique set of values, but do that work. It's amazing. That's such a powerful way to reconnect with yourself as well. What's important to you? If someone is like, yeah, that's important, but sometimes I ask the question and people just don't know. And that's where I know, oh, okay, that could benefit from doing that work. And it helps you make decisions as well. In terms of decision making, when you're clear about your values, it helps you. If you have an important decision to make, Ask yourself, is that in alignment with my values or not? That's going to help you in terms of goal setting as well. You know, if you want kind of the direction for your life, if you want to create a vision for your life, if you're clear about your values, that helps you.
That's so I just have this question in my mind. So what you're saying is that for me to be able to live my authentic self, one of the things I need to know is I need to know what is important to me. What are my values? So because sometimes we go through life without knowing what is important to us. We just, we just allow life to take us. But then we tend to forget that we are in control of things. So let me just be clear on that. So for me to be able to live the life, or to live my true authentic self, is to know my worth, to know my value. So when you said my value is personal growth, my value is to be in a place, in a space with like-minded people where I needed to grow. Therefore, I will choose to be in this path. I will choose to find that space for me to live my true authentic self, and my true authentic self, and to realize my purpose and passion. First, I need to understand what is important to me, what are my values. And it starts with that, isn't it? It starts with, okay, what is important to me? Because most of the time we, or I myself, most of the time, we just sort of, I'm a people pleaser. I started with I love pleasing people, but then what tends to happen when you want to please everyone apart from yourself, you forget who you are. You just get swayed.
You're not being yourself. You can't be yourself.
You're not being yourself. You can't be yourself.
Yeah, so true.
It's so true. So you have to. So for people who are listening at the moment, the first step, the step, start with identify your value. What's important to you, isn't it? If it's important to you to feel safe, to feel loved, to feel that you're being taken care of, start with that. Start with finding that within yourself. Do that for yourself. Be responsible in taking action in bringing that to you. Am I correct? When I say that?
No, absolutely right, Vita. And I think because creating, and for me, it's more than finding, it's creating your passion and purpose. It's not like you wake up one day, oh, this is my purpose. You see what I mean? It is a journey to get there. That's why all the different steps that are essential. If I have a client who come and see me and say, oh, I would like to know my purpose, it's not, oh, okay, so let's work on your purpose. No, we have to do all that work before. All the self-care and the awareness and acceptance, and the work on the thoughts, and then the values. What is it you value? And there are different ways to identify your values, but it's such a lovely process to realize, oh yeah, that's important to me, and I kind of neglected it. That's why I'm feeling unfulfilled. I actually need that in my life. How can I create that in my life? You see, again, it's empowering. You're not a victim. You see, you can create things for your life. You can create things for you, things that are important. And that's part of you reconnecting with yourself, being authentic, when you live in alignment with your values and who you are.
Amazing. So I guess that's one, isn't it? To be in alignment of this value. So for you to live an authentic life, for you to live your authentic self, the first thing is be in alignment. What are these things that that is important to me? Being free, being loved, feeling loved, being safe, and I have to be in alignment of that in myself for me to be able to to become the person I wanted to be. Okay.
Yeah. And that's why a lot of women when they turn 40 and subconsciously, they don't know maybe that they don't live in alignment with their values, but that's probably why the reason they're feeling unsatisfied. And as I said, when after 40, like you have that urge to live an authentic life. So if you don't live in alignment with your values, hence the dissatisfaction and the feeling of, oh, I'm not being fulfilled. There's not something not quite right, but I don't know why exactly. Do this work on values, and then it's going to become apparent. Like, okay, I understand.
I guess having that space, isn't it? Having some time, because if you're constantly busy, most people say, I'm so busy to do yoga. I'm so busy to meditate. You know, as Tony Robbins said, if you don't have 5 minutes, 10 minutes for yourself, then you're not living at all. So I guess one of the homeworks that, you know, after this call, one of the homeworks that, you know, we need to do is to just sit down and write down what is, you know, it's 2021. Come on, you know, write down what makes me tick, what makes me laugh, what makes me live, like what makes me wake up in the morning and just jump out of bed and feel inspired. What are these things? It's just, we feel that sometimes we think that to live this amazing authentic life, this living of life and passion and purpose, is to, you know, do big stuff like go to Africa, feed the children. Now, although that's, you know, that's amazing, that's very profound, but I feel like it starts with as simple as starting with yourself, simple as giving some time for yourself to reflect.
You need to take some time for yourself. That goes back to self-care. Schedule some time. You're not doing that work surrounded with children or when in a noisy, busy place. No. You need to make the time. You're not too busy to do that work. It's worth it. Trust me, doing this work is definitely worth it. And yeah, that's part of reconnecting with yourself, being who you are.
Amazing. I think Dimitri has another question. So I have an offer from someone to make a business deal. For example, one of my values is peace, and the person offered doesn't feel peaceful, but my ego wants the money. It's hard to stay in my value in this moment and say no. So I guess this question is, how do you choose? I mean, do you choose the money or do you choose the peace of mind? Is that right?
I think you've got to trust yourself, Dimitri, because sometimes we forget. And I think being in the, you know, how does that feel? Like, try and think, okay, what if I say yes and I agree to the deal? How does that make me feel? Really, you know, feel it in your body. And, oh, what if I don't do the deal? How do I feel? And really listen to your body. Because the thing is, asking people, I would highly recommend not to ask people for their opinion. They don't, you know what's best for you. You need to trust your inner wisdom. Everyone's going to give you a different opinion based on their own beliefs, really. So I guess it's like a dilemma for you, because if you're one of your core value is peace, but probably maybe one of your value maybe it's also money and finances. And it's important for you to earn. You see, that's where there's a bit of a conflict. But you've got to trust yourself, I would say. Just consider both decisions and see how they make you feel. And when you say it doesn't feel peaceful, is that doesn't sound like a fact, yeah? So maybe ask a bit more questions, ask a bit more about the actual offer, because it doesn't feel peaceful. It's just, is that a perception? It doesn't sound like a tangible fact where you can base your decision on. So I hope that helps, Dimitri. But really, you've got to trust yourself. And also in terms of decision, and that's for everyone on the call, I would highly recommend that there's no right or wrong decision, because you find it difficult to make that decision because in your head it's like, oh, I've got to make the right decision. And what I'd like to offer to you, Dimitri, there's no right or wrong decision. You just make a decision. And I would highly recommend to choose a deadline, like by the blah, 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 I will have made my decision. And then you have your own back. You trust yourself, you got your own back, you're not second guessing yourself. And you decide that's what you want to do, but it's fine either way. And then you have less pressure. You see what I mean? You'll be fine either way. There's no right or wrong decision here, but you just trust yourself. I think that's what's really important.
I really like that. I think to add more into what you're saying, if you step back from everything and just get really quiet, close your eyes, and feel how is it like to be doing what you truly love, or to go to that work that you're to that offer. Feel it. I like it when you said feel it in your body, because you have this inner intelligence inside you that will guide you. I like that when you say we're so scared to pick a decision because we're so scared to feel that our decisions are wrong. But you're, there's no right or wrong decisions. Every decision would lead you, is a decision that would lead you to the path where you needed to go. All you have to do is to trust and to believe that your inner being, if you're aligned with who you are and what you want it to be, I feel that there's this inner power, the source will guide you to the path wherever it is. So sorry, I have to, it's okay, I feel it, and trust.
That's fine. Thank you, Julia. Bye. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm conscious of the time. Oh my gosh, we could talk for hours.
We could talk for hours. You could talk for hours. Is there anything you wanted to add on our conversation? Jen, is there any?
I think for me, in terms of, just to end on that, and obviously people can feel free to go back to me if they want more details about the different step process. But so I talked about the first 4. There are 2 left. The next one will be identifying your zone of genius. So that means your unique strength, your unique talent, where you can really add value to people. That's your zone of genius. And there's an amazing book called The Big Leap. I'm going to type it in. I recommend it to all my clients. The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. It's an amazing book. Would highly recommend it. And he makes distinction between the zone of excellence and zone of genius. Zone of excellence is usually that's our job. Something we do well. We're not passionate about it, but we do it well. But then he talks about how to get to your zone of genius, where you're really using your strength. Coaching is my zone of genius, like inspiring others, having this meaningful conversation, this powerful conversation with women, this one-to-one connection. That's my genius, and that's what I help women with, identifying their zone of genius, so they can really use their strength and their unique talent. That would be my next step.
That would be your next step. And this book by Gay Hendricks, I think they've created other books, isn't it? Gay Hendricks. I
don't know.
Yeah, I think they're known for this. I just can't remember the full names of I think Gay Hendricks has a partner, and they did another one. But anyway, I've heard about them. Zone of genius, identify. So you said that your zone. So in this book, you're gonna identify what.
Yeah. He's really. It's a great book. Would highly recommend it.
To identify what you're good at. So
what you're good at, where your strength is, it's just it's really specific, but it's fascinating. So it's more than your job. It's like something you really. There's only you who can do it in your way, with you see what I mean? With your unique gift, your unique you, and everyone has that. Everyone has a zone of genius, but it's about finding it. It's about doing that work to get there.
Would you say that the source of of suffering, loneliness, and all this inability to just be in this situation where we couldn't find our path, our passion, it's because we haven't found what really touches us, what is our passion, isn't it?
We forgot sometimes.
We forgot because we think that to be living an authentic life, we have to. So there's a difference between following your path, your true aligned path, that your true genius, that's what they say, and following what society wanted you to do. So most of us, so if you're living in an Asian culture, you could just be either, the three: a doctor, a lawyer, or nothing else. uh, just kidding. So we're into that. I'm not sure with other, but we have that, but so most of the time, we get so miserable because you have this talent of capturing nature, and capturing or being a photographer, but that does, it's not accepted in the society, because it's either you're a doctor, a lawyer, or nothing else. So to live an authentic life is to identify your zone of genius. Your zone of genius.
Yeah,
what is that thing that you're really good at that no one else can do? So it could be knitting, isn't it? It could be,
it could be, it doesn't have to be,
it could be
massive,
anything.
I think, as you said before, it doesn't have to be a big, it doesn't have to be a massive thing either, but there's just something that, and also how it gives you an energy, it gives you, when you're doing it, when I'm coaching, I know, I'm just feeling in my body, I'm like, oh, I could do that all day. I just I just love it. It gives me, and that's how it's your zone of genius, because you're using your unique talent, you're adding so much value to people's lives. That's how and you're feeling good when you do it. You're feeling so good. It feels amazing. It gives me so much energy, and I want that for other women. Because I think we all deserve to find that zone of genius. And yeah. Did you want to add? Oh
no, just Kimberly said, I like your steps help to take the focus away from societal pressure, which causes high levels of anxiety. Thank you so much, Kimberly, for reminding us that. And one thing I wanted to add, what Jen was saying, is that the world needs passionate people. The world needs people who come alive in what they do. We're so sick of people going to work and just hating their job, ranting all the time. If I'm a boss, I wouldn't want to hire people who doesn't love what they're doing. I mean, whatever, if you're in a job and you're stuck in a job, please find something that you're passionate with outside the job, or use the job to be passionate about. I think the reason why we're giving the things that we don't like is for us to know what we like.
Yeah, we need a contrast. But also, quickly on that note, Vita, when you're not satisfied with your relationship, where you live, your job, a lot of people just go to the next thing. And I would highly recommend that you do the work on yourself first. Try and find a way to like what you do. Try and from that energy, then you can move on, rather than just getting to the next thing and you bring all your negative emotions with you. That's that's something I can talk about another day, but just be mindful of that as well. You're not happy with your job. It's not your job to make you happy. It's your job. Take responsibility. Take your responsibility, and then you can choose. Once you feel better in your job, when you found ways, because remember, all about your thoughts about your job. It's not your job, it's your thoughts about your job. Then you can maybe find something else that's more in alignment with who you are. But really find a way to be happy with what you have right now. I think that's really important.
It's so true.
And lastly, the last step is
about
all creating your passion and purpose, because you do create them. They don't fall on your lap. You don't wake up one day, oh, that's my purpose. You create them. If you follow this 6-step process, this is your logical last step, the creation process. You create your passion and purpose. Because you know who you are, you reconnected with yourself, you know your values, you know what's important to you, you know what you're good at, your unique strengths. So that that gives you so many kind of clues. It's like you have clues everywhere. That's my strength. That's what I'm good at. That's what is important to me. And all the mix, you have all these clues, and that's why you're able to create your purpose. And your passion by trying things, by again, it's so empowering. Oh, I can actually create my purpose. That's what I did. My purpose, I created it. It's one sentence. I empower and inspire women and men through one-to-one, meaningful and real conversations. Bam. That's my purpose. I created it. One sentence. I take it with me everywhere. And by the way, your job is not your purpose. You don't identify yourself with your job.
Your job is not your purpose. Your career is not your purpose.
It's not your purpose. It might be one way. Coaching is one way for me to fulfill my purpose, but it's not my purpose. My purpose is part of who I am. I take it with me everywhere. I can have this conversation in the shop. You see what I mean? This meaningful conversation. There are different ways that you can fulfill your purpose. Your job might be one way, but your job is never who you are. That's really important. Your bank account is not who you are.
Strip away every physical stuff that you have in this earth, your title, your money, your everything that you possess. And that's what the lockdown this COVID-19 has taught us.
That's why it was so hard for so many people, because if your job is taken away from you, if you earn less money, if you identify yourself with these physical things, when they are taken away from you, who are you? And I'm like, no, if you know what your purpose is, no one can take your purpose from you. You take it everywhere with you. That's part of who you are.
I don't know what people are thinking about our conversation tonight, but I feel it in my core. I feel it in every fiber of my being that this is resonating. I don't know if this is resonating with you, but definitely it's resonating with me. And it's my soul is actually telling me I'm in the right conversation. I'm in the right moment. I'm talking to the right person right now. Type in, if you're listening on Facebook, if you're joining us on Facebook Live, shout us a message if you have any questions. But this was really a great thank you. Yeah, it is. I feel it in every fiber of my being. Actually, I'm having goosebumps at the moment talking about this. It's remembering, reconnecting again, all these things that we're talking, it's remembering who you really are. Who you really are is love. Who you really are is not your physical stuff, all these cars and stuff. These are just physical. I'm not saying it's bad. Have them if it's make you happy, but your true purpose is to be in alignment of who you're meant to be, and to be that is to be in alignment with the source, with what you believe. And I believe that my true alignment is to be in alignment with the source, to be in alignment with God, and to be in alignment with myself, to live my truth. And my truth is to let these words out as to many people, and to let them hear as many people. This is part of what I feel I'm passionate about. That's why I'm here. And I don't know, share us. Just look out the big leap on my Kindle as my
great,
yes,
Emma.
Thanks, Emma.
You're gonna love this book. It's amazing. And thank you, Yvonne. Thank you very much. And yeah, I think it was great. I love sharing this because it works. I followed this same steps, but it took me quite a long time. And now, if I can shorten your learning curve, guys, if I can help you a little bit, you're going to go through your own journey, obviously. But these are really clear steps and that work. And it's so worth it, because being in touch with your purpose is just amazing. It's just, and I wish that for everyone. It's such an amazing place to be. Yeah, I love. I don't know if you have any questions, guys, but yeah,
we're open now for questions. I know we're sort of over time.
Yeah,
it's always like this. So guys, take this opportunity to ask questions. Like I've said in the beginning, there's no right or wrong answer. Take this opportunity because Jen is giving her time. Like, people pay her thousands of pounds just to help them in their path. So the reason why I beg Jen, please Jen, come. It's because I want to sort of begin to just cultivate this kind of conversation to my yoga community, not just to my yoga community, but to the Philippines, to everyone watching us. This is the power of social media. Many of us are just listening and looking at very shallow stuff. let's begin to dig in deeper to the purpose of who we are. And maybe we have to listen to other things. Maybe we have to just change, what we see, what we feed our mind and our body. So if you have that question, take this opportunity to ask whatever it is. It could either about passion, purpose, authentic life, authenticity,
values, or owning your emotions, how to feel. Like any question, please, yeah, feel free to message me, and yeah, I'd be happy to help you.
Fabulous. While waiting for people, Kimberly says in one of our chats, a refreshing and authentic conversation. Thank you, Kimberly, and thank you so much for being here. Your presence adds so much to this. Guys, if you want to ask questions, I can unmute you as well. I know sometimes it's difficult to type. I don't like typing as well. I want to really talk to the person. So unmute. I'm gonna let me know. I'm gonna unmute you. Open your camera. Remember, play big. This is your space to just live an authentic life. So yeah.
Okay. So Yvonne has a question. How can you forgive yourself from past mistakes?
Oof, love that. Go ahead.
I think it starts with, even when you ask the question, Yvonne, calling it a mistake already. I know it sounds like, oh, I've made a mistake, but that's not a fact. That's already a belief you have about what you did, that it was a mistake. So when you call it a mistake, do you agree that there's nothing, you're not going to feel good about that? There's no way you can forgive yourself. I think it's more, I've done my best. If I could have done better, I would have done better. That's so empowering. You see, repeat that to yourself, Yvonne, and I'm pretty sure that's the right path in terms of forgiveness. Like, I've done my best. I've done my best. I probably wouldn't make that same decision right now, but I did what I could with what I had. End of story. And again, owning your decisions, having your own back. That's how you can forgive yourself. I hope that makes sense, Yvonne. But even just the power of the words, like past mistakes, no, it's just decision you've made in the past. Okay, probably that would maybe not the best one, but that was your decision. Have your own back. Always come from a place of love. Never feel guilty. Never don't judge yourself for the decision you've made in the past. I think that's really important. You learned from it, yeah, Yvonne? I'm pretty sure you learned from your past decision.
Or she wouldn't be asking the question.
Exactly.
I think just to add on what Jen is doing, we make decisions in the consciousness where we are. So if we're living in a very low kind of, it starts with self-worth, isn't it? So if you feel that you don't deserve being happy, you don't deserve being loved, you don't deserve all these amazing things to your life, what you tend to do is you tend to pick the bad decisions, because that attracts the kind of consciousness you have at the moment. But if you begin to reawaken and begin to awaken that, hang on, I'm not a victim of my circumstance anymore. I have the power to choose the situation I want. I know this is hard for many people. Yeah, this is hard for many people, especially if you're coming out from an abusive relationship. You have to really, really shift and become a different person for you to be able to forgive and come out from that person you are in the past. So remember that you only did things because you are only coming from a place of a very low kind of consciousness on that. But you did that because that is what needed to be done. That was the right decision to be done that time.
Yeah. And always remember, Yvonne, you're exactly where you're supposed to be. Always tell yourself, you're exactly where you're supposed to be. No regrets. You learned your lesson. You've done your best at the time. End of story. There's no point of beating yourself up. Okay, time to move on. That's it. And Kim, no, I think it really helps. Yeah, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. That's it. That's a powerful thought, and that makes you feel better. Yes, I know it helps. Absolutely, Yvonne.
Yeah.
And Kim, Kim's question is, coming back to guilt, which many women have, is there a thought or phrase you go to help to step out of it? I think it's just realizing, Kim, that guilt is never serving us. The emotion of guilt, you never take the right action from a place of guilt. It's not serving you. So again, something like, I'm doing my best. I feel like it helps a lot of my clients, just telling them, you know what, I'm doing my best here. I'm doing my best. I have the best intention. I think because guilt is quite broad, so maybe with a bit more context, guilt in terms of in which area, or is it with the children? That would help a little bit in terms of coaching. But I would say, and also asking yourself, instead of feeling guilty, what would I like to feel instead? That's always powerful. Yeah.
It's changing, isn't it? Just
changing.
Shifting that questions, rather than, because a belief is something that you keep repeating yourself. So if you just, you cannot solve a problem by doing the same stuff, or Einstein would say, by creating and doing the same stuff and expecting a different result. So just a little bit of shift and ask a different question, ask a very empowering question. How can I shift guilt from a space of empowerment? What is the question I need to ask myself? How can I shift guilt to a space of, how can I transition from a space of guilt to a space of empowerment, to a space of love, to a space of rather than being caught up in being a victim? How do I come out powerful in this? What is the lesson here that I need to learn? So it's the same with Yvonne. It's the same with not forgetting the past. Like always, if you find that book, Man's Search for Meaning, if you remind me of the title, Man's Search for Meaning by, darn, I forgot. It's one of the powerful book. Anyway, it's another conversation. Anyway, but the book was just trying to tell you that you have this split second of, if you're going through some stuff, you have this split second of asking yourself. Again, it goes back to our earlier conversation. How can I move this to this? How can I transition from point A to point B? So again, you have a choice. So I know most of us live in a place of guilt. Yeah. Go ahead. Jen.
Always remember, and then I will have to end the call, or I have to dash because of the homeschooling. My son has his meeting, and I'm conscious of the time. I'm like, oh. But lastly, remember, when you work on yourself, it's your whole family who benefits from it. So it's not, even though it might sound selfish, everyone is benefiting from your growth. So never feel guilty. And when you keep pleasing everyone, you end up being resentful because you're not doing it from the right energy. So learn how to say no, focus on yourself, and know that everyone is going to benefit from this. I think that's
amazing. Once you live your passion, once you find your authentic self, don't feel guilty.
No,
everyone
will benefit from it.
It's a ripple effect.
Everyone, absolutely.
It's true. Yeah. Where can they find you, Jen? I know this is such an interesting and amazing. We can talk, days.
I know.
And like hours and hours. How can they find you? Where can they find you? Any courses, any things that you're doing at the moment? I'm sure everyone wanted to follow you.
I have a 10 weeks program where we go through the different steps. In more detail, obviously, we really go deep into the whole different steps, and the ultimate goal being in touch with who you are, having more energy, being satisfied and fulfilled because you live in alignment with your values and you created your purpose. And people can connect with me, on Facebook. that I will type my full name here.
While Jennifer was typing, thank you for being here, everyone. I'm gonna go to Facebook, and just in case people have questions there, just let me check. So it seems like Facebook's just catching up on our conversation.
Okay.
Anyway,
so I have to go.
Jen has to go. It's actually what, 2 p.m. your time? 1 p.m.
Half past one.
Oh my God.
Thank you so. It was amazing. Thank you, Vita. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Lots of love.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for being here, and thank you, everyone who's watching on Facebook. Jen, thank you, massive thank you.
Thank you, Vita.
It's so good.
I loved it. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
See you again on our next topic, or 365 days of deep conversation.
Definitely.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Bye-bye.